this is 1/3, this is 2/3. So what I do first of all with any front facing, and the technique is exactly the same, whether you do it on a smaller scale, whether you do a big one for a wedding, like a pedestal, it's the same process, okay? So I always do my back first, nice back piece, and you want to look for something that's nice and straight. We've also got the forsythia that we can incorporate in the willow as well, which I might add in a second. You can't really, in these designs, appreciate this until it's open, so it will open in the next few days, but it's a very typical spring material that we use a lot. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to roughly do about here. Okay, I'm just going to turn it towards me just for a second. Now I'm going to place it in the back of the foam. Okay, and I'm going to slightly, not too much, but just a slight, you have to work with the stem, at an angle, just slightly tip it back a little bit. Okay. Don't worry if it wobbles a bit too much, that's like my top part. Okay, and I'm going to support that with a little bit of the, this is where you can go high with these forsythia because it's very thin, so that's okay if you want to go a little bit higher than your actual 1/3, 2/3, because where it's quite thin, it allows you to. So I'm just going to bring out a little bit here. Okay, so that tells me what my height's going to be. Now I'm going to do my width, and that is 1/3 the width, so it's the height of your container. So again, use some foliage. You want 2, because this is a symmetrical front facing, so 2 the same. When you go by the measurements, always allow a little bit extra for your stem to go into the foam. So it's the actual piece that's going to be outside the foam that's your measurement. Okay, so always give a bit extra for the stem. So these are going to go at the side, but I'm not going to be so like quite formal that it's sticking out here. I'm just going to slightly bring them in a bit, so it gives it a bit, softens them a little bit more. And against that actual container, so you're not having them fanning up like this, okay, that you see underneath. They're going flat. And you're going to do 2 either side, slightly tilting in a bit, so they're not so heavy. Now I know my width, I know my height, and now I need to know what my depth is. And the depth is here, okay, the 3D part of it. And again, it's the same, it's 1/3. So use another piece. And this time I've got a nice curvy bit here actually, so I'm going to place that at the front, just to give a bit of angle. Okay? So height, width, depth. That's the first placement I would do, so you get an idea of what the shape's going to be. Now you're going to visualise, just to show you, if you imagine here to here, okay, imagine a dotted line coming down. So if I imagine a ruler, if I had that there and there, yeah, you see that sort of shape that creates. See this area here? This is where all your flower material needs to be, okay? If my flowers are sort of sticking out like that, then you've gone out of shape. Yeah? So this is like the void, this is the area. So if you imagine a dotted line from there to that point, that's where your material needs to be. Okay, so this is what helps you give that sort of shape. So you've got to visualise it in your mind really. I 10 times use my hand and my elbow, and that's the area my flowers are. Again, that position here, from that dotted line to there, that's your profile.
So is it triangular shape?
It's triangular. Anything symmetrical is triangular, so it's like a mirror image. What you do one side, you'll do the other. Okay? So that's also your profile of your outline. And the other one really is here to here. That. Yeah, there and there. So your flowers have to be within that. That's where your guide is. So what I tend to do next, once I've got those in, I now start to work that shape a little bit, just so I can see where I'm going. And you can use leather leaf and other material. I'm using the corner of the foam, and I will turn it around in a second. And I'm visualising that line coming down, remember? Again, visualising the line here. A bit shorter. Okay, so I'm making sure it goes nice and flat against the container. So I'm hiding my horrible tape, so my customer doesn't see my mechanics. So again, what you do there, you can do there. So you'll notice I'm not actually touching any flowers until I've got my outline and my shape. I can use that part. You don't want the stem sticking out of the foam here though, because they're not going to drink, okay? So you've got to keep within it. I'm using all of the foam. Yeah? At the moment, you notice I've got nothing here. Okay, and that's really important because people will put loads and loads and loads of stuff here and it just crumble because there's too much pressure. I'm just going to, because that's quite a big piece, I'm just going to add another little bit to this level just to strengthen it a bit. I will build out a bit more eucalyptus in a minute, but again I want to build a bit of shape here. So I'm going to bring a slightly smaller piece of leather towards the front. And even these pieces with two on, they're quite good. Okay, but what you notice was my measure. Now I'm not coming out of that. I'm not having big pieces, for instance, like coming out too far, okay? You're sticking to that sort of shape, yeah? And then I'm going to bring in a little bit of eucalyptus now, just to... Sometimes leather leaf is more of a foliage to help with your shape, and then you start to bring a choice foliage in, which could be things like pittosporum, eucalyptus, asparagus ferns. They're all the choice foliages, so they sort of come after. Some stems go down, because remember there's loads of foam here that we're not going to use, so you might as well go down a little bit as well. Use it up. Now that piece, I don't like that bit because that bit's missing, so I have to look at how you can work it. So I'm going to cut that off first of all, see what look it gives me. It's quite a nice piece, I might use it at the back. So it's looking at your stems actually and the way they all go in their direction. It's like this, and where do I use that? So again, it's breaking it down, I might use that. It's a nice curve. I might use that on the outside edge. Need a bit of profile now, because you can remember, it's still full to come out a little bit. Okay, we can still come out. And I'm going to bring a little bit of this Forsythia through, but a stepping stone down. So again, it's this next step out, gives it a bit of depth. I might save that because I quite like the look of it. And then you will see. I wouldn't put too many short bits, but I'm just going to put a few. So when they open, you get a nice bit of yellow at the top. You've got a lot of yellow flowers still. You might want to start to put. You might want to put a couple of willow in there, just a bit of different texture. On the opposite side, so you've got the Forsythia running this side. And what we're going to do once we've practiced this quite a bit is look at how we can incorporate strong lines and groups of something, so the groups are running through. And there. This one will be an assessment piece, yes. But what we're going to do after we've made this today is turn it into an asymmetrical, which will be a task game. Yeah? So yeah, please don't go away and do stories and narratives and evaluations and things on this one, because it will be an assessment. But it's always a good one to start with. This is where your principles and elements of design are really showing.
How long did you get for this?
I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's quite. I don't know.
Well, I think once you've got your height, width, depth, it's then the sort of puzzle. You're fitting in the pieces in the puzzle. Yeah? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want you to get to this stage of foliage in it first, and then we're going to come back and put the flowers in.